So, welcome everyone to this special session. This is a special session, and this is a global masterclass, and it is unlocking your power with intentional reflection. Unlocking your power with intentional reflection. I want to start with you today with a story. In March 24, 1975, something amazing happened in a city in Ohio, United States of America. And the heavyweight champion then, Muhammad Ali, was fighting. He had a fight with a man that was called Underdog. His name is Chop Wepner. Chop Wepner is a white guy, and he was challenging the heavyweight champion, the great Muhammad Ali. And of course, people never expected much from Chuck Wepner because Ali has a very, very intimidating record. Everybody knows Muhammad Ali. I mean, he knocked people out, and it was like the Mike Tyson of those days. So it was a much look forward to fight, and people, was really expecting the fight. But what really shocked people about this fight is not just an ordinary fight. It was the resilience of Chuck Wepner because he was not really a pushover. And another amazing thing that happened in this fight is during the ninth round, Muhammad Ali was knocked down on the floor. And this will be the fourth time that Muhammad Ali has experienced this in his boxing career. He was knocked down during the ninth round and the crowd erupted. Wow. Many people never see it coming because this Chuck Wepner, like I said, is an underdog and it was nicknamed the Bionic Bleeder. And he took the fight to 15th round. Can you imagine? Ali is the great heavyweight, and the speculation before the fight is going to be a 31 chance. So that means there's a 30 more chances for Ali and just one chance for Chuck Wepner. So the gap was so wide, but to everyone's dismay, the fight took a longer time to the 15th round. It was during the 15th round that Muhammad Ali gave Chuck Wepner it gave him a knockout. And 2 minutes, 31 seconds into the 15th round. And the referee had to stop the fight. And Muhammad Ali was declared the winner. Now, watch this. Neither Muhammad Ali nor Chuck Wepner was the winner of that day, this particular day, March 24, 1975. Unknown to everyone, there was someone in the crowd watching the whole drama. There was one of the people people that come to watch the match. Everybody was just hyped. But this man came right there watching like everybody else. But he did something different that changed his whole life. Now, Chuck Wepner, because he lost the fight, he got $100,000 on that day. Muhammad Ali was given $1.7 million for the fight. But there was someone in the crowd, unknown to everyone. This young man was putting some notes. He was writing some stuff. He was taking so many notes. He got an idea. And after he left the fight, he engaged in intentional reflection. He was able to unlock his power for intentional reflection, going over that same fight that brought Muhammad Ali 1.7 million. That same fight that brought Chuck Wepner $100,000. And of course, some other people make money, maybe the promoters and all that. But this man was unknown to many. He was in the crowd. Now watch this. He's a young actor. he has been struggling. He has been struggling for a long time to get a main role in Hollywood. He couldn't get one. He has got some side roles because many people did not know that the great actors that we hear from Hollywood, only 1% of them really make great money. There are so many people struggling, so many struggling actors that we never heard about. And this young man will have been one of those, but he refused to give up. He saw a chance. What this young man did led to the movie called Rocky. How many of you have heard about the Rocky movie before? And you can put a chat, and by reaction, you can put your hands up, just you can put it in the chat. If you have heard Rocky, you can put Rocky in the chat. Just type Rocky in the chat if you have heard about Rocky. You've heard about the movie Rocky. Okay, I can see Coach Alicia from San Francisco. Yes, you've heard about Rocky. Listen, I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There is a place, there's a statue dedicated to Rocky. And in fact, there is something called the Rocky Run, that people do Rocky Run. And they come to the city of Philadelphia to do a Rocky. Rocky has become a brand. But guess what? It all started by engaging the power of intentional reflection. Now, when he wrote the script, the people, the directors, they loved the script. But watch this. They didn't want him to act as the main actor. They want somebody else to act because he was not known. Nobody knows him. He was still a struggling actor. But he told them that he's not ready to compromise. He's going to be the main actor of that movie. Otherwise, no deal. And when they look at him, they say, okay, if that is what you want to do, this is what we're going to do. You won't get much money. We only give you 35,000 naira as a modest fee. And we will guarantee if the movie did good, because you are not a known actor. If it did good, we'll give you a percentage profit from the movie. He accepted the deal. And to their surprise, the movie did so great. Apart from the $35,000 that they gave him, he ended up making 2.5 million from that movie with the percentage. Chuck Wepner was given an opportunity to get something too, but he didn't settle for percentage. He chose to get some money upfront. And the money that they gave him upfront was low. He will have become a millionaire if he has gotten the percentage. But he ended up, just cashing out what they gave him at that time. Now, this is the point I want to make with you. Because of the power of intentional reflection, this guy called Sylvester Stallone, that's the name of the man that wrote the script, that was reflecting, that engaged the power of intentional reflection. Because of the fact that he was able to unlock his power with intentional reflection, he did not just make 2.5 from that movie. There was a production of Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, and Rocky became a brand. Do you know that when Muhammad Ali died, it was worth $50 to $80 million? But guess what? Sylvester Stallone is still alive today, and his net worth is $400 million. I'm just letting you know the power of reflection, because I need to share this story with you before I go into the content. Because when we go to the content, this is not just any masterclass you will just come and leave. I want you to realize the power you have within you. And we're going to unlock that power today through intentional reflection. That's why I brought this story. So today, Rocky has become a business empire. It has become a brand. So many GS has been sold in the name of Rocky. So many stuff has been sold. Rocky has become a global brand. And because somebody chose intentional reflection. As we close this year, 2025, I want to challenge you. My mentor does this so well, Dr. John Maswell. He knows how to reflect. He said after Christmas, for the rest of the year, he started reflecting on 2025. He blocked everything. And he said that is how he spent the rest of the year in reflection mode. And I want you to know something. Rocky was broke. He was so broke that he sold his dog for $25 to $40. I mean, that was how broke he was. He did not have heat in his apartment. He was living in New York at that time. He couldn't even afford to pay his rent. But that night, watching that movie, and through the power of intentional reflection, today is now worth $400 million. Now watch this. It was not one of the people fighting, but he got an idea. He asked deeper question. What does this moment means say about human potential? How can I turn this inspiration into something impactful? He was asking question. Watch this. Muhammad Ali fought. Chuck Wepner fought with courage, but Sylvester Stallone fought with reflection. And that fight make him a legend. Now watch this. He never received any punch in his face. He never received any blood. He was fighting with reflection. The leadership lesson in this is this. Reflection is the bridge to reinvention. Reflection is the bridge to reinvention. Every great transformation starts with one moment of reflection. That's what happened to Sylvester Stallone. That quiet second when inspiration meets intention. Sylvester Stallone's reflection turned into a screenplay. It became a household name. It went from nobody to somebody. The screenplay became a story. That story became a symbol of hope for dreamers worldwide. Now, the question is, what experience from 2025 is calling you to create something new? Now, the truth is that every one of us, we have a lot of experience. Dr. John Maswell said, reflection will turn experience into insight, which means wisdom. What moments are you overlooking that might be your rocky moment? Today is all about your rocky moment. Today is all about your rocky moment. Because Rocky is not only rich today, he's so influential. He has done, after that, he has done so many movies like Rambo, so many stuff. But that was his turning point. Now, the challenge I want to put before you today is that there are so many experiences you've had from this 2025 that you are overlooking. So as we go through this masterclass, I'll be sharing with you the framework. I've prepared a special slide. As we go through this framework, I have made it so easy. This framework is for you. It's a signature framework prepared specially for this purpose. So I'll start sharing with you this framework. It's a signature acronym called reflection. So we are talking about unlocking your power with intentional reflection. And I've already shared with you the Rocky story. In case you came late, you are just coming, you're going to get the video and hear the story from the beginning. But this is going to be your Rocky moment. Today's going to be a Rocky moment because we're going to look at reflection from a different point of view. Now, before I start sharing with you the slide, this is what Peter Drucker said. Now, Peter Drucker is the father of modern management. He made a big statement. He said, follow effective action with quiet reflection. Now, watch this. Reflection is not loud, it's very quiet. So Peter Drucker said, follow effective action with quiet reflection. He said, from the quiet reflection, we come even more effective action. So what is Peter Drucker said? Now, what Peter Drucker said is, if you want to be more effective in life, anytime you take an effective action, you need to follow it with a quiet reflection. Listen, I am not just a teacher of this, I am a practitioner of it. And I know what I'm talking about. I have been able to leverage reflection in the course of my little life. Now, one day I went to speak in the Rotary Club, Upper Darby. The Upper Darby is a city very close to Philadelphia. I'm the only black guy in that on that club. They are all white. So they invited me. So I went to speak. And I spoke on the 4 keys for effective leadership. That would be the first time I will speak. In fact, I was sharing with my wife before we go, and I was working on something I can give them that they can remember. So I call it ESPN. I break it down to those 4 keys. There are many keys for effective leadership, but I want to give them something they can remember. So my wife and I, when we were brainstorming, we came up with ESPN. And the E talk about effective communication, and the S talk about strong values, and the P talks about powerful why, and the N talks about network nurturing. That means effective networking. So, and that was the first time I will ever give the speech. And after that time, I was reflecting. I was engaging in reflection. Let me just first of all give you the quick starter of what we call the reflection quick starter. Now, if you want to reflect, there are 3 questions you need to ask yourself. The first question is, what went right? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. And the second question you need to ask yourself is, what went wrong? And the third question is, what can I do differently? What went right? What went wrong? Number 3, what can I do differently? So as I reflect over that experience, now watch this. Reflection turned experience into wisdom. And I begin to gain some wisdom. So one of the things I realized, okay, many things went right. I was able to connect with the people. I don't even have this. They don't have a slide. There's no projector. And one of the things that I find out that went wrong was I went over the time. I wasn't disciplined with time. And my mentor has already warned me that anytime I'm going there, but they were really patient with me. They don't really bother because I was the only speaker. So I realized that what will I do differently? And I realized that next time I will be more mindful of the time, and I'll make sure that I finish on time, and I'll make sure that I'm able to connect much better with them. I realized there's always room for improvement. So another opportunity came. Now, this was in the first speech I gave was in November 2022. So another opportunity came for me. This is a bigger Rotary Club. This is the Rotary Club in the city of Philadelphia where we live. So when I went there to speak in this Rotary Club, like I said, I've already learned through reflection, I make those adjustments. And this time around, I was not the only speakers, and they have a lot of activity. They were so big about the time. But guess what? I was able to make radical improvement. I was really on time. And within the time they gave me 15 minutes, I was able to connect effectively with them. And in fact, the review I got was so huge, and there's so much love. Now watch this. In those 2 meetings, I wasn't paid. But guess what came out of it? Out of that experience came out a book. And this is the book. I'm telling you what you are missing when you are not reflecting. This book came out of it. 4 Keys for Effective Leadership. This book came out of that. And I wasn't thinking about writing a book on that. I was just big about, I want to serve them. I want to give them something that will help them. But from that experience because of reflection. Remember what and Sylvester Stallone did. He bought a ticket. I'm sure it will have been a struggle to buy that ticket to go and watch Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wepner. But he knew that there's something waiting for him. See, many of us, we are not ready to invest into our future. I'm sure it cost him a lot. Maybe he would have borrowed money to buy himself. He just realized that I have to be there. And that was a game changer in his life. Many of us, we have an opportunity to attend a conference. We have an opportunity to attend a particular training, but we keep on looking at, oh, what it will cost you. Now, watch this. Poor people, this is how they think. They think about what it will cost them to attend a training, a conference, or a leadership development class. But this is how rich people think. Rich people, they think about what it will cost them not to attend. So both of them are just different. It's between the East and the West. The way the rich people think and the poor people think. Because the key to your advancement is investing in yourself. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, says the greatest investments to make is in yourself. And John Maxwell said, you can never reach. John Maxwell said, those who reach their potential, they invest in themselves daily. And that's what Sylvester Stallone did. Sylvester Stallone invested in himself. I'm sure, I mean, you can Google how much it takes to go and watch a boxing fight. It cost him a lot, but he got there. This is a man that cannot afford to pay his rent, but he was able to pay his way into that auditorium where the fights took place. And that was a turning point in his life. He will have remained poor forever, but that was a game changer. Now, this way I'm going. I just told you, reflecting after I gave that speech, I was able to improve the content. And I went to speak in Rotary. And after that, I was invited by charter school for a conference. And I got paid $3,000 to come and speak on this same thing. And I have gotten so many opportunities that have gotten me a lot of money. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is this. That was not a one-act thing. I had another experience. I gave a training to a group. It was complimentary, just like this. They didn't pay. My church, my friend is the pastor of that church. So they have churches all around the world. So they all came. It was Zoom. In fact, that day, my wife and I, we have an appointment that day. I was racing back home just to come and make the class. But after faithfully serving them on that day, and after reflection, because I was reflecting on the experience. So I'm sharing with you what Peter Drucker said. He said, follow effective action with quiet reflection. From the quiet reflection, we come even more effective action. You see, the reason why many people are not more effective in life is after every effective action, they don't even take time to reflect and they missed the reward. Reflection comes with a lot of benefit. I've just shared that one of Sylvester Stallone with you, and I'm sharing mine with you. I've shared the first one, speaking in 2 Rotary Club that brought this book. And after this book, I went to go and speak in many places that I've made money and I've made a lot of contact, impact. Then this second one was April 21, 2023. After speaking for this group, it was a Zoom meeting like this, it was virtual. And upon reflection, this book came out, another book called The Beautiful People. It was, that beautiful is acronym on the kind of people you need around our life. That was the second situation. I have another experience after speaking for another group. It was complimentary. Upon reflection came out another book. See, I can go on and on and on and on and on. The reason why I'm telling you is this. I know what I'm talking about. You are not hearing from a philosopher, you are hearing from a practitioner. And by the grace of God, I've written 12 books. Most of my books are born out of this reflection. And I can tell you this before I take you through the content. So, what you are hearing now is not philosophy, it is practice. But I want to tell you something. What you're going to learn today, it will do you no good if you didn't put it into practice. Because learning without practice is playing without knowing. So I'm ready to take you on this journey. I've taken the due diligence of sharing some story before we started, so that this content will not just look like a lecture. I wanted to really assimilate it, hone it, and begin to reap the value of intentional reflection. It has to be intentional, because intentional means it's not automatic. Sylvester Stallone will have just attended the boxing and just watched. Everybody was just hype, but nobody made any money. He never received a punch, but he ended up getting 2.5 million. Muhammad Ali got 1.5 million. He got 1.7 million for the fight. Chuck Wepner got $100,000, but he made 2.5 million from the movie. And he made so much fame. Now it's worth $400 million. He was just awarded an honor by the President Donald Trump, and about 2 weeks ago. And his name is now a brand. Rocky is a brand, and he keep on reaping that reward from one encounter. So let's go and see this framework that I already had for you. This framework, like I said, is something that is going to make all the difference as we go in it together. So come with me as we go on this journey, and we unlock your power with intentional reflection. So this is it. So here comes the framework. Now, this is the framework, and I want you to pay attention to this. The signature acronym is reflection. I have made it so simple, memorable for you. And watch this. Each letter unlocks a key step in intentional reflection. Each of the letters, each of the alphabets, they unlocks a key step in intentional reflection. So the R is remember your experiences with gratitude. Like I said, you have so much experiences in this year 2025. So where to start from is this. You must remember your experiences with gratitude. That is the place to start for. Even the bad ones. I know we've had bad experiences. We have good, but if you want to turn your trash into treasure, if you want to turn your frustration into transformation, you must remember your experiences with gratitude. The second alphabet is E. Evaluate what worked and what didn't. We'll be looking at this power of evaluation. You have to evaluate what worked and what didn't in 2025. Then the next one, F. Don't forget, we are spelling reflection. Face your truth. That means your discovery, the thing you are discovering, face it with humility and courage. No pride. Face it face your truth with humility and courage. The humility to accept the reality of it, to accept the feedback, and the courage to make a change, to leverage it. Then the L, learn the lessons hidden in your moments. Every moment you've gone through this 2025, there's so many lessons hidden in it. So you have to learn those lessons. The E, extract wisdom that can fuel growth. So we can extract wisdom from every moment we've been through in 2025, like Sylvester Stallone did. Then C, clarify your purpose and priorities is very, very important. Clarity is superpower. T, transform insight into intentional action. We'll be looking at how to do that. Then I, implement consistent habits that sustain growth. Then O, observe your progress. Then I implement consistent habits that sustain growth. Then O, observe your progress and celebrate small wins. And N, of course, nurture a rhythm of reflection for continuous improvement. Because reflection is not a one-time thing, it's a lifetime practice. So you want to nurture a rhythm of reflection for a continuous improvement. And I wanted to I wanted to take a pause. You've seen the framework. We're going to go over it. Each of the framework, we're going to go over it. Each one, we're going to take it one by one. We're going to break it down. I want to make it so plain to you. No theory here. It's going to be less theory and more practicality. Now, I want to just think about it for a moment. You have seen the signature acronym reflection. Remember your experiences with gratitude. Evaluate what worked and what didn't. Then F, face your truth with humility and courage. And then learn the lessons hidden in your moments. Also, extract wisdom that can fuel growth. Clarify your purpose and priorities. Transform insight into intentional action. Implement consistent habits that sustains growth. Then observe your progress and celebrate small wins. And the last one, nurture a rhythm of reflection for continuous improvement. Now, I want you to pay attention to this. As you look at this framework, you will observe that I want to put it in the chat. Which one are you just becoming aware of? Which one of this framework that was listed, which one stood out to you the most that maybe you are not even aware of it before? I want to put it in the chat box. Like I said, you get something for being here live, and so I wanted to put it in the which one of this framework, this reflection framework, which one stood out to you the most? I want to put it in the chat. Yes, just put it in the chat. Which one stood out to you the most? I want to see it. Okay, I want your response. This is not a lecture. This is a highly impactful and interactive session. So which one stood out to you the most? Please put it in the chat, please. And just type it, is it remember your experience? Okay, you don't have to write the whole that you can write. Is it R? Is it the one that started with R, E? You can just put only the alphabet, Which one stood out to you the most? Is it the R, E, F, L, E? We have to E now. Which one stood out to you the most? Okay, someone said the L. The L means learn the lessons hidden in your moment. Okay, thank you. Then someone said learn lessons hidden in your moment. Okay, wow. I think the L is getting popular now. Then someone said, oh, observe my progress and celebrate small wins. Wow. Somebody said the N. So the N talks about nurture a rhythm of reflection for continuous improvement. Oh, someone said E and C. Wow, wow. That was awesome. And that was awesome. Now that you have identified it, we're going to take each of them one by one and to be able to look at it. But I want to tell you something. What you're going to get is there's going to be a lot of questions at the end of the day, because I want to make this, and someone just mentioned N now, nurture a rhythm of reflection for continuous improvement. So I want to make this thing so practicable. And in doing that, we'll be looking at some certain things in the breakdown. So we're going back again. Thank you, Coach Alicia, for helping to bring those people in. And we won't call them latecomers. We'll just call them great people, because they still make it. They still make it. Okay, now let's move. Now let's look at the first slide now. So the first one is R. So like I said, we're going to be taking them one bit by bit and get this lesson and application. So the first one is remember your experiences with gratitude. Now watch this. The word gratitude is very important. Reflection begins with remembrance. It begins with remembering. It begins with remembrance. You have to remember. You have to remember. Ability to recall. Sylvester Stallone did that when, someone, just watch a 15-round, a big event in March 24, 1975, between the great Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wepner that nobody even expected him to get to 15 round. So he has to remember everything, detail by detail. So reflection begins with remembering. And watch this. Gratitude reframes everything. So what does this mean? That gratitude reframes everything. Like I said, this is a practical session. You see, when you understand this, reflection begins with remembering. But as you are remembering, you need to do it through the lens of gratitude. Because gratitude is an attitude that helps you to see what others are overlooking. You see, because when you don't look at life with gratitude, now let me show you how the lens of gratitude works. For instance, what some people consider as a fail, F-A-I-L. Oh, someone say, oh, that's a failure. That is fail. Now, look at the lens. If you look at fail, F-A-I-L, from the lens of gratitude, do you know what it means? It means first attempt in learning. Can you see what I'm talking about? So that's what we call reframe. See, reframing, one of the hallmark of greatness that great people do, they don't just frame things, they reframe it. They have a way of looking things in a different way. Case in point, there was a man called Les Brown at 48. So Les Brown, after some investigation, and he was before the doctor, and the doctor said, Les Brown, I want you to know that you have cancer. We just did your PSA now, and the PSA was so high. I think the PSA was higher than 2,400, something like that. And he said, what does that mean? He said, well, this is what we call prostate surface antigen that shows the all marker and of cancer in your prostate, and it's stage 4. The normal one is 0 to 4, but now you have like almost 2,400. And the doctor said one more thing, it has metastasized into 7 areas in your body. And guess what Les Brown said? He said, wow, 7 is my lucky number. And he began to say, oh, the children of Israel, they went round Jericho 7 times. Naaman dipped himself inside River Jordan 7 times, he became healed. And the doctors, and asked the doctor, he said, can I have a second opinion? He said, yes. He said, you are ugly too. Oh, he said, but this is what I want to tell you. The doctor said, what I have learned as a doctor is I don't choose the prognosis. I only determine the diagnosis. I'm going to leave the prognosis between you and God. And Les took that challenge. Now, he began to look at the PSA from a different framework. And that began to change the way he sees himself. Because when Dye says, when we change the way we see things, the things that we see changes. Guess what? Les Brown is 80 years old today, 32 years after. In fact, some few years ago, they gave him an award, a perseverance award, the American Cancer Society, as a cancer conqueror. He doesn't call himself a cancer survivor. He called himself, and the PSA has gone down remarkably. And Les Brown is still inspiring people. Listen, I listen to him every day. I still listen to Les Brown today, this morning. It's so funny. You'll be talking about a squirrel called Tyrone. I mean, it was just funny. It's still changing lives. It's still making a difference. For some people, it will have been but it is all about reframing. So that is why you need to remember your experiences with gratitude. I know you've had some seemingly negative experience this year. Remember it with gratitude. The lens of gratitude changes everything. Maybe you are involved in something, you've lost a lot of money, but guess what? You've not lost your life. You are still alive. And as long as you are alive, you can make that money back. I remember this year, January, my wife and I, we were coming from an outreach, and somebody hit me. She was a lady and hit me and ran away. We caught up with her. We thought she would stop. She put the car in a reverse and took a one-way and ran away. Oh, it was a low blow. It was hurting. It was challenging because I wasn't responsible. Now I have to come out with a $1,000 out of pocket for something I was not responsible for. But you know what? Right now, through reflection, I'm remembering that experience with gratitude. With what gratitude? Thank God. No one was hurt. No one got killed. The car was damaged, but praise God, it was fixed. That gratitude led to me having a client that was supposed to have started and now came through at that time, and I made ×3 that money that I used to fix the car. But this is the point I want to get to you. So start remembering your experience with gratitude. It's so important because gratitude changes everything. A lot of people, they remember their experience with regret. Remember your experience with gratitude, your experiences. Reflection begins with remembering. Gratitude reframes everything. Now watch this. Confucius, a Chinese philosopher, said, learning without reflection is a waste, and reflection without learning is dangerous. So that's why it's very important. Anytime you learn something, you need to reflect. Like today now, after today's section, you need to go home and reflect. So I want to ask you 2 questions that I want you to reflect on. What are the 3 things you are grateful for in 2025? I want to think about it. There's so many things, but just 3. Can you write 3 things down that you are grateful for in 2025? The other question I want you to think about is, what is one challenge that grew you in 2025? That when you look back, it was a challenging situation, but because of that challenging situation, you have experiencing a great kind of growth that you would not have even experienced if not for that challenge. I want to take just 1 minute. So, and just reflect on that. Like I said, we'll be having a lot of questions because this is the practicality of it. So what are the 3 things? Because we're talking about remember your experience with gratitude. So what are 3 things that are you grateful for in this 2025? What are the 3 things? There are many things, but just 3 for the sake of time. Think about 3 things. You can put it down. You can put it down. Then as you put those 3 things down, I want to think about what is one challenge that grew you Yeah, this same year, what is one challenge that grew you? That when you just remember that challenge, you remember, oh, this growth that I experienced was as a result of that challenge. So think about one challenge that grew you. I remember, yes, I mean, this same year, that accident that I was sharing that happened, I really grew from that. One of the growth that I experienced from that challenge is this. Because I saw that car when she was about to pull out. So I was waiting for her to, because I have the right of way. So I waited a little bit. She wasn't moving. So it was after I moved, she now moved and now hit me. But I really grew from that. So the growth was anytime I'm coming and I see a car like that, I wait more. I realized that if I have waited more time, she will have gone. Even though I waited. So the growth I experienced is that I'll be more patient next time. Even if it takes waiting a longer time, I don't mind to avoid people like that. There's so many people like that that they are careless drivers. So, and I've grown a lot. And because of that, I have saved myself from more accidents because of careless drivers like that. Because I realize that not everybody that is behind the wheels are safe drivers. Some people, they don't even have insurance. So that challenge really grew me in that aspect. Okay. Now, let's go to the next one because of time, because like I said, we're going to go through everything, but I'm making this thing practical. I believe if you are getting something, I want to just put it in the chat. If you are getting something from this session, just put in the chat. Yeah, some of you are writing what you're grateful for. Good. Even if you don't put it in the chat. So I want to put in the chat. If you are getting something from this thing, just write yes. Just put yes. If you are getting something from this session, if you are already having a rocky moment, so just put rocky moment. RM, RM. If you're already having a rocky moment, just put RM. I want you to see. If you're already having your rocky moment, yes, I can see some rocky moment. Yeah, because that is what happened to Rocky. I don't just want it to be just hype. This is not a class you come, you just get hype. No, no, no. You are not here to get hype. We are here to get real, to take hold of those experiences and begin to reap our harvest from it through intentional reflection. Thank you all for your response. I really appreciate that. So let's move on to the next one. We've looked at the first one. So the second one we're going to look at is the E. Evaluate what worked and what didn't. So the second key in this system is you want to evaluate what worked and what didn't in 2025. You see, you don't have to be sad about what didn't work. Evaluation lets you know where you stand. You can't multiply what you didn't measure. Dr. John Maxwell said, experience isn't the best teacher. Evaluated experience is the best teacher. And someone said, Dr. Tim Elmore, he said, experience is only the best teacher when you add assessment. And that assessment is evaluation. So evaluated experience is the best teacher. So this is the time to evaluate what worked. So this exercise I want to give you right now is this. Think about it. What worked and what didn't work in 2025? There's so many things we can learn from what worked. So that means whatever worked, you can improve on it. And whatever didn't work, you can learn from it. And the question is, what will you do differently in 2026? So I want you to think about it. Take a minute to think about it. This is how we unlock our power for reflection. So think about what worked and what didn't work. So what worked can be improved on. It can be done more effectively. And what didn't work, we can learn from it. So the question I want to put forward to you right here is, what worked and what didn't work in 2025? So the question is, what will you do differently in 2026, because doing the same thing and expect a different result is the definition of insanity. So we can't be doing the same thing and experience a different result. There was this story of this is a medical story, because that's my background. I'm talking about this medical story. So they used to in those days, the doctors, after they finish what we call post-mortem, examining someone that died to know the cause of death, guess what? They would just go like that to the theater to operate a living person. And they keep doing like that. They keep doing it like that. And what they realize is, this is true story. And they now found that there's something we call mortality and morbidity. Mortality is when someone dies. Morbidity is illness, when someone's sick. So there's an increase in the mortality and morbidity. That's why in teaching hospital, they always have what we call M&M, mobility and mortality medicine. So this thing called reflection is always engaged. They want to know, they want to study somebody. Why did this person die? What can we do differently? So like I told you, reflection is something that is actually has been embraced based on past history. But in those days, they were not reflecting. And they just find that people keep on dying. After such, people will die. And one day, somebody that was reflecting, and he now observed that, listen, reflection requires observation. And it's quiet. See, observation is not loud, it's quiet. And through that reflection, you just realize that the doctors, the same hand that they use to touch a dead body, they will go to the theater just like that without washing their hands. And through that reflection, they were able to come up with a solution that after the postmortem, touching the dead body, all the doctors must wash their hands. And by that single action, the morbidity and mortality went down. And that changes the whole medical practice. Another application of reflection, I've just shared the medical world. Let me give you another application in the political world. Many years ago, it was observed that American presidents, and they were just getting shot. And many presidents like that, they were being shot and they died. But somebody that was really reflecting, that was unlocking the power of intentional reflection, the person realized that there's a pattern to this thing. Now, there's something called pattern recognition. There are three things I want you to understand. This is a digression, but it is a good digression. So pattern, the first thing about pattern is there's something called pattern recognition. You have to recognize the pattern. And this thing requires reflection. You can't recognize every system. There are 8 streams of influence in life. All streams of influence, they have their pattern. There's pattern to everything in life. So the first thing you need to understand, there's what we call pattern recognition. So you have to recognize the pattern. That's the first thing, recognition of patterns. Now, after recognizing the pattern, the second thing you need to know about pattern is understanding the pattern. So the first thing is pattern recognition. Number 2, pattern understanding. You have to understand the pattern. So it's not enough to recognize there's a pattern, but you need to understand the pattern, understand the nitty-gritty of every pattern. And the third thing is pattern creation. You have to create your pattern. Listen, I have used this principle to write books, 10 new books. I wrote 10 new books in less than 2 years. Now, if you want to get the proper context, I wrote my first book in the year 2000. I was in medical school then. November 2000. I wrote my second book in 2003, September, both while I was in medical school. But after that, for 20 years, I never wrote a single book. For 20 years, I couldn't write one book. But when I began to study pattern recognition, I was able to write 10 new books in less than 2 years. People were, wow. And we started the Authors Forum. And through the Authors Forum that we started in May 2024, many people have written their book. They have published their book through the Authors Forum. They have been inspired because we have the framework. We have the pattern through that pattern recognition. So the first thing is pattern recognition. Number two, pattern understanding. You need to it's not enough to understand the pattern to recognize. You have to understand it. Then if you understand the pattern, the game changer is the third level, pattern creation. You can create your pattern. So this thing applies in every field. And I've taught different people, I've coached different people about this, and I've seen a lot of transformation. And I know what I'm talking about. Like I said, you are not hearing from a philosopher, you are hearing from a practitioner. Now, hear this. Somebody was reflecting about American president being shot. He now realized this pattern. He recognized there's a pattern. So the second thing is they now understand the pattern that it is not only American president being shot, they were being shot every 20 years. So that is level two. Level two is that is what understanding does. Understanding means comprehension. They now realize that it is happening every 20 years. The last president that was shot was Ronald Reagan. So as they were now understanding the pattern, they now begin to find out what is going on, what is happening. They now realize that there was a curse placed on America by the Native Americans because they took their land without giving them any compensation. And when they find that, they now did the restitution, and that pattern was broken. The last president that was shot was Ronald Reagan. And he didn't die. He made it. If you're a person of faith, this thing happened in the Bible too. In the time of David, there was a famine. And David saw the pattern. He knew that this thing is not, what is wrong? So when David began to understand the pattern, he now realized that it was because of what Saul did. He killed the Gibeonites. They were in covenant with the children of Israel. And when they appeased them, the pattern was broken. So you see, this thing requires reflection. I'm telling you, reflection applies to different fields. We've looked at boxing, we've looked at medicine, we've looked at politics. It applies to every field. There's always a pattern. Oh, okay, let's move on. This is so good. If you are having a rocky moment, just put RM. Let's see those RM again. Just put RM. I just want to be sure you are having a rocky moment. Just put RM on the chat. Because listen, I want to serve you in a big way because there's so many experiences that you're going to turn around. So many experiences. When you begin to unlock your power, like R.E.F.L.E.C.T.I.O.N did, it's so powerful. Thank you all. Thank you all for the response. Thank you all for the response. Now, so we're going to move on. We've looked at the first one. The first thing that we saw right here is we saw this evaluate what worked and what didn't work. So let's look at the third alphabet now. The third alphabet is face your truth. That means your discoveries, the truth you are finding out about 2025 with humility. Humility is readiness to accept the truth. Courage is the ability to leverage your discoveries. Now you have found the truth with humility. You have accepted it without any kind of excuse. Humility will make you not to make any excuse so that you can courageously put the lesson into practice. Because facing truth precedes transformation. You cannot experience transformation until you face the truth. And one thing I want to tell you about the truth is this. One truth you will ever face is this: to know that you are the problem and to also know that you are the solution. I know we don't want to take that part to know, we don't want to we don't want to accept that you are the problem. Listen, when you know you are the problem, and you also know that there's a solution, there's good news. Even though when you hear the word, oh, you mean I'm the problem? Yes, the person in the mirror is the problem. Yeah, and that's the person. You are the one in the mirror. But the good news is you are also the solution. So if you know you're the problem, you can fix it. Listen, you can either make excuse or make a difference. You can have it both ways. So face your truth with humility and courage. So recognize that you are the problem and you are the solution. Someone said, if I fail, it's my fault. If I succeed, it's my fault. So stop making excuses. Most of the time we make excuse. You can make a difference if you keep on making excuse. A leader can either accept excuse or result. I always tell myself, no excuse. So when humility will help you to accept responsibility, and courage will help you to make that change that will lead to transformation. That's how it works. So face your truth with humility and courage, because facing truth precedes transformation. The reason why many people will never experience transformation is they're always blaming everybody. And the more you blame people, they have the control over your life. So this is the time to stop the blame and to look at the person in the mirror and say, I am responsible. Because I am responsible for this mess, with courage, I'm going to turn this mess into a message. Jonathan M. Pham said, feedback turns good into better and better into best. So that's the power of feedback. So these are the things that come as you face the truth. You begin to get the feedback. So the practice exercise we want to do right now is this. I'll give you 1 minute for that. Is what truth about yourself did 2025 reveal that you are unaware of before? And the second question is, how can you profit from this new awareness? Because the first key to change is awareness. And the second key to change is after you became aware, then you have to take action. So awareness must be followed with an intentional action. So what truth about yourself did 2025 reveals that you are unaware of before? And how can you profit from this fresh awareness? It's very important to ask yourself this question. It's so important. And there was this man of God. He went somewhere to preach. And he was preaching. He was just sharing from the Bible. And, that part of the passage he was sharing from is, and he was talking about someone about love, that if any man does not love his brother, and that we have passed from death to life because we love the brother. We love the brethren. That if anybody doesn't love his brother, he abideth in death. He said, but the way the preacher now said it, even though the Bible did not say that, he said that, and he said, and that includes your mother-in-law. and this, this. So after he finished, this preacher was actually Kenneth E. again, senior. And I went to him and said, you just messed me up. And the Kenneth E. again said, listen, you got messed up before I came. The truth just revealed who you are. And come to think about it, she was having some issue with the mother-in-law. And they were having some challenges. But because of that experience, that reveals something about her. Because he didn't see that God saw it that way. And because the problem was the husband is the only son of that mother-in-law. And the mother-in-law was so protective of him. And now she began to see the mother-in-law as had been in competition with the husband. And because of that, she was having a kind of hatred. And unknowingly to her, that thing was subtle. but that thing got exposed. So the man of God said, I didn't mess you up. You were messed up before I came. The word of God, the light just revealed you. So whatever this year is revealing about us, we must be ready to own it. Listen, if you own the mess, you can turn the mess to a message. But if you refuse to own the mess, it will remain a mess and it will mess you up. So as leaders, we must be ready to own the mess. And then with courage, we can turn that mess into a message. So that's a strong one. Yeah. Okay. So let's move to the next one. The next kit in this factor, because of time, is L. Learn the lesson, aiding in your moments. Learn the lessons, aiding in your moments. Listen, lessons are the currencies of growth. Lessons are the currency of growth. Growth begins when you stop counting failures and start collecting lessons. Lessons are the currency of growth. It's so important to know that. Twyla Tapp said, ultimately, there's no such thing as failure. There are lessons learned in different ways. If you check the history, how Coca-Cola was created, it looks like failure. They wanted to add something and they now wanted to go and add something else. And that's how it became Coca-Cola. It was and that has become one of the greatest brands in the world. So the question you want to ask yourself is this: what did you love about 2025? What did you lack? For some people, it is they lack patience. For some people, they lack confidence. For some people, you are the only one that can identify what you lack. And the last question is, what did you learn from 2025? This is a very timely masterclass. I tell you, I don't take this with levity. I understand the gravity of it. I believe so many people are going to experience a rocky moment, great transformation from this reflection. I want to encourage you. Reflection is something you need to do every day. Every day, at the end of the day, ask yourself 3 questions. What went right today? What went wrong? What can I do differently? Begin to think about the encounters you have with people. Maybe you have an encounter with someone that led to a conflict, and just begin to ask yourself, okay, what will I do differently next time? Maybe you said something that you are not meant to say. Maybe you are too impulsive. Maybe there's a text message that you send in anger. You are not supposed to send. You see, because you can't change what you do daily until you reflect on it. So this is why reflection is so powerful now. But the power is unlocked when you do it through practice, when you practice reflection. So there's so much power. Like we saw how Sylvester Stallone unlocked that power. He went from being broke. He made much money, even than the people that are throwing punches at each other. He didn't have to throw one punch. That's how powerful it is. We all have that power inside of us. To unlock that power, it requires intentional reflection. It has to be done with intentionality. It's so key. It's very important. So what did you love about 2025? What did you lack? And what did you learn? Okay, that takes us to the next alphabet. And that is E. Extract wisdom that can fuel growth. I want to consider wisdom as the gas for growth. Wisdom is the fuel for growth. And it is through reflection that you turn experience into wisdom. Now, watch this. Wisdom is not what you live through, but what you learn from. A lot of people, they are living through things, but they are not extracting the wisdom. They're not learning from it. So wisdom is not what you live through, but what you learn from. And self-reflection is the school of personal leadership. So reflection is a self thing, it's a personal thing. So reflection turns experience into insight. So the things you want to do right here is, what wisdom did you gain in 2025? You see, the difference that every one of us should consider is, if you are not wiser than you are in 2024, something is wrong. We are meant not just to be growing older every year. We are meant to be getting wiser. So what wisdom did you gain in 2025? And what adjustment will you make to profit in 2026 from this wisdom? And that's the beauty of life. You see, as human beings, we become wiser with age. But the animals, they don't have that privilege. If you go to the lions now, it's the same way they are killing, they are feeding 200 years ago that they are still feeding right now. You don't see a lion after killing an antelope or a deer, they will now put pot on fire and be cooking it. No, it's the same way they've been doing it. They just eat it raw. The same thing, just look at the animals, because they are creatures of instinct, but we are different. Just go way, just 20 years ago, even just 10 years ago, look at the improvement that has happened. In those days, few people have cell phone, but today it's common. In those days, if you want to browse internet, only few people have access. But today it's common. If you have a phone, anywhere you go. So because as human being, Homo sapiens, we have the privilege to get wiser. But do you know the truth? Let me tell you one powerful truth. Getting older is not getting wiser. That's why a lot of people, they are older, they still do some foolish stuff. The reason is this: getting older is automatic, but getting wiser is not, because of this problem of reflection. A lot of people, they don't reflect, and they want to threaten you that, don't you know I'm older than you? But listen to me, you may be older than me, but you are not wiser than me. If you remember, as a person of faith, David said, I understand more than the ancient because I meditate on your precept. So wisdom is not a product of age. Wisdom is a product of intentional reflection. It's very important. And I want to be very real with you. That's why you can see a young person so wise, you now realize that, oh, why is this person so wise? Because the person reflects. Because if you keep on making the same mistake the same mistake you make last year, you see, it's not a sign of wisdom. So, and this is the key. With all humility, I say this because I used to struggle with reading. There was a time in my life I used to read, I'm on fire for reading, but after some time, I lost that momentum for reading. I'll now get to a point in which I will take one book. For months, I won't be able to read it. I take the book. There's something called Ahab. Always have your book. I obey that. So I'll take the book. I won't be able to read the book. I became so lazy. I lost that momentum, the drive to read. And I didn't like it. Deep down, I wasn't becoming, this is many years ago. I was just so unhappy with myself. And it is stunting my growth. Until God used my Baba to help me. My Baba is from Vietnam, so I see him twice a month. So the Baba will now see me with the same book, and he will just ask me, "Are you still reading this book? Are you still reading this book?" Initially, I wasn't sensitive, to let you know how I've just lost that consciousness. And I wasn't really bringing the results to be a better version of myself. So the Baba will ask me every two weeks, "Are you still reading this book?" One day, I said, "Oh, this Baba is getting on my nerves. I pay you to cut my hair, not to remember me of my iniquity. I know I've not been reading." So one day I decided to show him that. I thought, what could I do? I took a different book. So when the Baba saw the book, it was quiet. I was so happy. But somebody wasn't quiet. My conscience became louder. And my conscience said, "You are a fraud." I said, "I'm not a fraud. I didn't do anything wrong." He said, "But you took a different book." I now realize where the fault is. The man in the mirror. I decided to own, no more excuse. I decided to own the problem because my conscience became louder. He said, I see the Bible twice a month, but I see my conscience every seconds. I know I have to face it. And I begin to look for how can I grow consistently. Today, I say it with all humility. I read 12 books every day. I don't finish the book. I read from those books. Last week, it used to be 11. If you know me, last week, I just added a new book. So now I'm reading 12 books. And I have a system for that. I have a system for reading. And I created an accountability group. So when I finish a book, I report to that group. It's called Train. Train is the Reader's Addict Inspired Nation. If you want to join Train, I can add you to that train. So in Train, we train you to read. We encourage you to read. We inspire you to read. It's a community. It's a community of people that are addicted to reading. Because I realized that I needed an accountability group to keep me reading, to keep that fire burning. And I'm not doing it to impress people. When I share the book, my book report, I'm not doing it to impress anybody. I just finished some books, about 4 books last week. And anytime I finish a book like that, I have a backup book. So these are some of the books I'm reading at the moment. I just started reading this one, The Wright Brothers. It's a biography about the Wright brothers by David McCullough. And another book I'm reading at the moment is Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington. These are good books. And now I don't just read for the fun of reading. I read. I'm looking for what to apply. Another book I'm reading also is this. It's called The 4-8 Principle. This is a very powerful book. Tommy Berry. There's another book that Dr. John Maxwell have talked so much about. It's called Spiritual Leadership. Spiritual Leadership by J. Oswald Sanders. Then also, I'm reading at the moment 2 biographies, apart from the Wright brothers, which is one of the biographies I'm reading. Albert Einstein. It's a very good one reading now. So this one is by the author Walter Isaacson. Walter Isaacson, yeah. And there's another biography I have here, and about Benjamin Franklin by Walter Isaacson. Yeah. So I just finished the biography of Elon Musk, and I've read the biography of Steve Jobs. These are big books. These books I'm showing you, they are not 2 pages. I mean, this Albert Einstein is almost 640 pages, and the same thing, yeah. And so why am I sharing all this with you? You see, growth have to be intentional. We don't grow automatically. We grow intentionally. It has to be deliberate. You see, and I don't want it to go into 2026 without making a decision for transformation. Nothing happened by chance. Things just don't just happen. Things happen just. So that's why you need to keep yourself in an environment. I created what we call Light Academy in July, and some people are in part of that academy. And 6 days in a week, I share content with them. In fact, this masterclass you are right now is Light Academy. Every last Saturday of the month, I have a masterclass session with them. It's ongoing all through the year for the Light Academy. Yeah. And the people in Light Academy, they have access to me, and I can, and they can talk to me during the month. You know, they have access to me. They have access, and there are different levels in Light Academy. You know, there's silver, there's gold, there's diamond. There are different levels in Light Academy. Now, why am I'm just letting you realize that growth requires intentionality. It requires intentionality. So please take your growth serious. And one of the way to grow is through reflection. That's why we've been talking about this reflection and more. So, and that is the E, and extract wisdom that can fuel your growth, because the wisdom you extract from reflection is a fuel for your growth. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one is C, clarify your purpose and priorities. Clarity is power. A clear purpose and well-aligned priorities will help to keep you on track. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe says, the things that matters most must never be at the mercy of the things that matters least. Purpose is so important. It is purpose that determines priority. So if you didn't clarify, that's why purpose comes first. If you didn't clarify your purpose, you won't know your priorities. So I want to think about this three questions. What matters most right now to you? Number two, what must you stop doing? Then number three, what must you start doing? What matters most right now to you? Most of the time we always talk about to-do list, but we need to also talk about to stop list. There's some things we need to list. So as we are talking about to-do list, we must have a to stop list. As this year is going to an end, we must have to stop list. There's some things we need to stop. One of the things we need to stop making excuses for our own growth. And one of the things we need to stop is we need to stop keeping companies with people that are not on fire for growth. There are so many people that they are going nowhere and they are looking for people to go with. We need to stop compromising the people that we allow into our circle. People that are not really, you see, if someone is not taking you up, they will take you down. So it's so important. You have to stop making excuse for your destination in life. So you need to have a stop list. So what do you need to stop doing? I used to make a lot of excuses before. I'll blame this. But if that used to be, then you have to stop making excuse. And what do you need to stop doing? So, and these are the things that are very, very important to watch out for. I'm seeing some live chat, so many things. Someone said to stop list, you say, yes, this is very good. It's either someone is taking you up, taking you down. Really, those are the things. So, and I've seen a lot of people showing interest in train, and someone talk about a reading habit. So he said my reading habit is bad. He said, after reflecting, I realized that I lack the enthusiasm to read because I had not applied what I learned. I feel I'm just storing information without using them. I see no need of reading more because I'm not applying that. That's it. So that's what I want to please. Now, I want to respond to that. Like I said, you get the benefit of being live is that some things you get that people that are watching the YouTube will not get. Now, don't read for the fun of reading. You must read. Let me give you one main reason to read. Read to solve a problem. You must read because you want to solve a problem. Then you must read for application because you want to make your life better. So read for application to make your life better, to become a best version of yourself. And number two, read to solve a problem. Anytime I'm reading a book, I'm reading because I want to solve a problem. It might not be me, it might be somebody that will come my way. So read for application and then read for passion. Read something you are passionate about. And make sure you learn every day. Make sure you learn every day. It's so important. Make learning a priority. In my book that came out June this year, my latest book, I'm working on some new books for New Year now. This is my book number 12. And Leader, Lead Yourself. The acronym for that book is leader. It's leadership. That's the acronym for this, leadership. I share the 10 pillars of personal leadership. The first L that I share is called learn continuously. Learn continuously. Learn continuously. Make it a priority to learn. Listen to me. I say this with all humility. I have one of the biggest library in the whole world. I can tell you, my wife can tell you. I buy books every month. I have one of the biggest library. When I launched my business 5 years ago, I opened a new library. But the books I have bought since then is more than what. And before I launched I already have books. Anytime we are moving, one of the greatest loads is books. Fair, we have a room. It's called a book room. The only thing is just books. We have a book room to let you know how many books we have. Some years ago, we were living in a one-bedroom apartment some years ago. So the people that just bought the building, they came and they look at my library and they are Jews. The way they are looking at me like, wow, because it's rare. It's not something they just see like that. There was a man that wrote a book. I don't know if you have heard about this book. I know many of us have heard about Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. But this book is called Think and Grow Rich. It's called A Black Choice, written by a man called Dr. Dennis Kimbro. So Dr. Dennis Kimbro, this is written for the African Americans. I'm reading it because I want to reach them. So Dr. Kenneth Kimbro said when he made a research, because at that time he was going to the house of wealthy African Americans, to write the book. And one thing he find out is that anytime he go to people that are poor, they have a big TV. It's so that the poorer they are, the bigger their TV. But when you go to rich homes, they have the based on the size of the home. It's so that the bigger the homes, the less the size of their TV. The richer they are, the less the number of TV, and the less the size of their TV. This is true story. So you now realize that, I mean, you now saw it. So one of the books I was reading of recent by our executive vice president, Chris Robinson in Maswell Leadership, he said when he saw that, he said, wow. Because he was a TV freak. He has to stop watching too much TV. Some people, they don't just watch TV. TV watch them. They watch too much TV. This is how you know you're watching too much TV. And they sleep off, and the TV started watching them. And Jim Rohn shared a story on a man that bought a TV. So after he bought the TV, the mentor now saw him. So the mentor came to visit him. The mentor now asked him, he said, how much does that TV cost you? So I think he bought it at that time, maybe $300. He said, no. He said, what I mean is, how much is it costing you? So when the man thought about it, that, because he's watching too much TV, he doesn't have time to grow himself, to develop himself, to read. He now saw what the mentor means. He called one of his cousins in downtown. He said, Greg, so I just have a new TV for you. Would you like to have it? He said, yes. Greg was so happy. He drove down to drop the TV for him. So Greg can remain broke. I want to be rich. Cousin Greg can be broke if you want. He was happy to get a free TV. The house we are living now, by the grace of God, when we got in, we had the favor of God. They left TV in every room for us. And I told them, I don't want any of those TV. We already have one downstairs. I said they should take all the TV. My wife said, it is free. I said, yes, I don't want it. They should take it away. Because I knew that is my kryptonite. When I was in medical school, I never had a TV. I resist the temptation to get a TV. And I don't judge people. That I just knew for me, it would be a big distraction. One time, a friend of mine was going to serve. And he wanted to leave his TV for me. I said, no. And then my brother came to visit. My brother said, you want to leave it for me? It's free. I said, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. He can leave his fridge. That one will serve me, but TV, it will hurt me. So listen, I shared this one time with some youth. They say, "Oh, does that mean that we shouldn't watch TV?" But I said, "I'm not saying you shouldn't watch TV. You reduce your TV time and put that time to reading." Oh, then I say, "Okay, we understand." That's the thing about it. The people that make news, they don't have time to watch news. So don't forget. Wow, so many great stuff coming up. So let's move. I just want to make this thing so practical, not just theory, dry. No, no, no. I want to get something. So what matters most right now? What must you stop doing? What you start doing? So let's look at the next one quickly. T, transform insight into intentional action. Transform insight into intentional action. Now, watch this. Learning without intentional action is playing without knowing. So, as you are reflecting the insight that is coming to you, you have to put it into intentional action. Jim Rohn said, "Don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action." So, that's what this person that was sharing on the chat, that she stopped reading because she just learning without applying it. The problem is application. So as you reflect, whatever insight comes to you, you have to put it into intentional action. So the things to consider this with this alphabet is, what changes do you have to make intentionally to let your learning always lead to action rather than mere knowledge? So what changes do you need to make? Because you need to make changes so that anytime you learn something. Now, I want to give you a very caveat, a very quick tips. Anytime you go somewhere, like you come for a class like this, always have this thing called ACT. I want to have it in mind. ACT, can write it down, ACT. So anytime you are in a conference, you are in a class like this, you are in a workshop, always have this ACT mindset, ACT. The A is this: as you are learning, you want to ask yourself, what can I apply? What can I apply to my life? A, so you need to think about A. C, what can I change? What can I change? What can I change? Then T, T is, who can I teach this thing to? See, that is how to have an intentional action. So you have to have this ACT, that it's called ACT. So always think about this ACT. So anytime you are somewhere, a conference, a growth environment, ask yourself, even you are reading a book, ask yourself, what can I apply? Start looking for what can you apply to your life to become a better version of yourself. That's what I told you I'm reading from 12 books. If somebody is reading 12 books, it shows there's so much he doesn't know. And that's the truth. There's so many things I didn't know. What I know, they are so little. What I need to know is like ocean. So I don't want you to look at me and say, "Oh, this person is," well, some people even call me professor, but listen to me. I knew the more I learn, the more I need to learn. That's why I keep on learning. So learn to apply. Two, learn to change. At times, it can be just some small changes you want to make. For instance, I was learning from my mentor, Dr. John Maswell. And as I was learning from him many years ago, and from his book, the 15 invaluable, if you have not, this is one of the best books in the world. It's called the Bible of Growth. 15 laws of 15 invaluable laws of growth. So as I was reading this book, I came in touch with something that changed my life. And it was that place, when it was talking about, it was sharing something. In fact, it is the chapter on reflection. And under that chapter of reflection, it talks about 4 eyes. Under that chapter of reflection. And the way he said it really stood. I've never seen it that way before. He mentioned, when you take time to pause, use your eyes. And he now mentioned investigation, incubation, illumination, and illustration. He mentioned 4 eyes. And that was a game changer for me. So what really changed me there was the incubation. He said, how anytime you learn something through that incubation, he said incubation is taking an experience of life and putting it into the slow cooker of your mind to simmer for a while. Woo! And it talks about how anytime he learns something, he will put it in his mind to simmer it like a crock pot, to marinate on it, just like meditation. Do you know from that encounter, I started a group called Thinkers Island. The Thinkers Island started June 2020. And right now we have almost more than 280. If you want to be in Thinkers Island, I can add you to it. We have professors in that group. We have a lot of PhD holders in that group. And every day I used to share 5 quotes per day, but now I share at times 13 quotes per day on Thinkers Island. A lot of people, they've written books, they do a lot of use that quote has changed so many lives. There was somebody one time, the wife was having a challenge with cancer. And he was asking somebody that, where can I get helpful phrases that will inspire me at this time? And that person happened to be one of our admin in Thinkers Island and one of our leaders. And the person recommended for him to join Thinkers Island. And I never knew. I have no clue. This is after many times. And those phrases, those quotes just come. And those quotes has really helped. Listen, one of the books I've written is a book on quote. It's insightful quotes. I'm working on the 2.0 coming out next year. I'm already in the pipe works working on that. So why am I sharing from you? See, so don't read book for the fun of it. Who cares if you have finished 200 books and it doesn't show in your life? I tell you, from one book, I got an idea to start Thinkers Island that has changed many lives. About 270 people belong to that group. And I mean, people are getting value. And I told them, there's no copyright. Copy it right. Take anything from there and use it. So read to apply, read to change, and then read to teach. And also read to solve problems. So it's ACTS, ACTS. So let's do it again now. So you read to apply, read to change something, then read to teach another person, then X, read to solve problem. So you see, it's ACTX. Don't forget ACTS, like the book of Acts. So read. So let's do it again. ACTS. Somebody can put it in the chat. So read to apply something to your life. Then read to change something. Then read to teach others, and then read to solve problems. Thank you. Oh, wow. Miss Olunubi, thank you for capturing that act. So that's it. So when you have that at the back of your mind, so your reading has meaning. That is reading with meaning, reading with intention. Everything about reading should be intentional. Don't read for the fun of reading. Reading for the fun of reading is just having fun, and that fun will not last. But when you read with this act, ACTS, oh, that is everlasting fun. You will enjoy reading. You will always listen. My reading time, I dedicate like 2.5 hours to reading those books, apart from the time I used to read my Bible as a person of faith. So it has changed my life. I've learned a lot, and I'm learning every day. Now, if you want to read, let me tell you what to read on. A lot of people say, oh, what should I read about? Okay, now I learned it from Dr. John Maswell. If you want to read, consider these 7 areas what to read about. 7 areas. Okay. The first 5 is called clear. CLEAR, clear. C is communication. Read about communication. Find a book on communication. Then L, leadership. You have to be intentional about your read. That's why I'm giving you the subjects to read about. So clear, the first one is clear. So read on communication. C, communication. L, leadership. Find a good book on leadership. I've written a lot of books on leadership, and Dr. John Maswell is the professor in that area. Yeah, I'm coming behind him. So read the book on E, equipping. Equipping is how to grow others. He has a book on that, The Leader's Greatest Return. That's a good book. If you want to grow other people, that's a good book to read, equipping. Then read on attitude. One of the books that Dr. John Maswell wrote on attitude It's one of the book I'm reading right now. It's called The Difference Maker. It's a very good book on attitude. The Difference Maker. It's a very good book. It's on attitude. That all things being equal, attitude is the difference maker. So then read a book on relationship. Relationship. I wrote a book. I showed it the other time. The Beautiful People. It's a book on relationship. It's on Amazon. The Beautiful People. Then also a very classic book is How to Make Friends, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That's all-time classic. So CLEAR, communication, leadership, equipping, attitude, and relationship. Then also another two areas you want to read on, 2 F's, faith and finance. I'm reading a book on finance right now, What Nobody Tells You About Money by Jade Washer. I'm learning a lot from the book. So read book on faith and finance. And then I'm reading a book on faith, Apostles and Prophets by Rick Renner. Once I'm done with that, I already have another book waiting. So when you read in that 5 areas and you do the ACTS, read to apply, read to change something about your life, read to teach others, and read to solve problems. Listen, your life will never be the same. I guarantee you. Ooh, we have to go fast. We have just 9 minutes. Oh, okay. Before we go ahead, please put in the chat if you are having a rocky moment. Okay, let's see are you having a rocky moment? RM, let's see RM. Ooh. Oh, come on. Is it only one person having a rocky moment? Yes, I can see rocky moment. Yeah. Oh, wow. I tell you. Oh, this I am going to tell you something. I have never had such a master class like this before because this is so timely and timeless. It's timely and timeless. So thank you for your response. Thank you for your feedback. So let's quickly wrap this thing up fast. Okay, now transform inside into. We've done that. So the next one quickly, I implement consistent habits that sustains growth. Implement consistent habits that sustains growth. Implements consistent habits that sustains growth. Now watch this. Reflection without implementation is admiration without transformation. And we don't want to be like that. What we need is transformation, not admiration. So reflection without implementation. So it's good to reflect, but reflection must lead to implementation or execution. Because reflection without implementation is admiration without transformation. Charles Dewey, an expert on habits, said, once you understand that habits can change, you have the freedom and the responsibility to remake them. That's the good news. Someone said, oh, that's my habit. Listen, a bad habit can change to a new habit. So once you understand that habits can change, you have the freedom and the responsibility to remake them. So you can remake your habit. So there's something called total habit makeover. Total habit makeover. I think I need to write a book on that. Total habit makeover. That's a new idea I just got for a new book. Total habit makeover. We need that. So the question is, what new habits do you want to begin in 2026? It's supposed to be 2026. That will sustain and enhance your growth. And which of the habits excites you the most? So I want to think about it. What new habits? Start thinking about what new habit, because this is the time to start thinking. There are some habits you have now that is not serving you. For instance, if you are not reading, that's a bad habit. It's not serving you. You need to sack them. You need to fire those habits. We need to fire, all of us. We need to fire those habits that are no longer serving us. They are bad habits. We need to hire new habits. So the question is, what new habits do you want to hire? Let's forget the one that you want to fire. Let's focus on the one that you want to hire. So if your new habit, there's something I would have taught you that I normally teach on habit, but I'm constrained by time. But I'll be announcing some good news for you as we wrap up, because I'm doing a class on communication, how to elevate your communication, transformational experience, all Saturdays. I'll tell you how to sign up for the class, all Saturdays in the month of January, the new year. I want to show you how you can elevate your communication. Warren Buffett said, if you can elevate your communication, it can increase your earnings by 50%. One thing you can do that can change your life. And I'll be showing you that. We'll be doing a class. You will get all the things for the class. I'll make available. You get the book for free for the class. You get the book, the e-copy for free. All the resources you need for the class. 5 weeks. We're looking at 10 chapters. We'll be looking at 2 chapters per week with exclusive bonus teaching. Then also, if you sign up for that class, you are going to get a bonus admission into a conference, Live to Lead Leadership Development Experience on January 3rd. You will have a special admission into that conference. That one is paid, but because you sign up for that Elevate Your Communication, that one is 3 hours. You have speakers like John Maswell. World-class speakers. You'll see them, Craig Rochelle. And, you'll be seeing those speakers. I'll be showing you those speakers. So once you sign up for that Elevate Your Communication, you get access to that second one automatically. Then also you will get access to I did a classic masterclass on Elevate Your Communication. That one, people pay $200 for that class. So you will get that content too, extra bonus, if you sign up today, for that one. So that one is coming. You're going to get that because, there's so many things I couldn't teach today, but when you come for that class, you will get those extras. So, but today we have to wrap up because of time, and we have just 3 more minutes. So, like we said, implement consistent habit that sustains growth. But when you come to my class, I will teach you something called SOA, and how I have a new content I'll be teaching during my class called Total Habit Makeover from my new book coming up in 2026. You'll be able to get that when you come for my communication class. Okay, now the next one is observe your progress and celebrate small wins. Now, one thing I want you to note is that it is little progress made daily that eventually leads to big wins. The secret of making progress, according to Mark Twain, is to get started. You can't make progress until you start. So you have to start. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. So the question is, what will you consider small wins in 2026? And how do you intend to stay on track until you record big wins? You see, our work are first stored up before they showed up. So the thing is this: don't despise little progress. You need to celebrate little, big. You have to don't despise little progress. Observe your progress and celebrate small wins. Celebrate small wins. Maybe you are reading a big book, and like all these big books I talk about, like those books. My primary book, I spent 30 minutes on it daily. Then all the other books, I spent 10 minutes. My goal during that 10 minutes is to read 2 pages. That's 5 minutes per page. That's my goal. And most of the time I do 4 pages. So, but when you come to my class on communication, I'll show you practical ways to read a book. How to read a book. Practical. I'll be very. So those are the extra bonus teaching that will be in that for people coming to the communication class. You'll be getting all those extras. And okay, quickly, let's see this one. Observe your wins. So the last one, but not the least, is nurture a rhythm of reflection for continuous improvement. So you want to keep that rhythm on because growth requires rhythm. It's not a sprint, but a marathon. That means it's ongoing. Marcus Ali said, relentless improvement is the quiet rebellion against mediocrity. Relentless improvement is the quiet rebellion against mediocrity. So don't forget, growth requires a rhythm. It's something ongoing. It's not a one-time thing. So now, the question I want to ask here is, what accountability partnership would you like to set up to optimize your growth and elevate your leadership in 2026? I told you about Train. That's an accountability partnership. Even the Thinkers Island is accountability because I'm learning more about new quote every day. So I'm even though I'm helping people, it's also another way to grow myself, to learn to really improve that skill set in quotes, incubating and all that. So nurture a rhythm of reflection, and that's very, very important for continuous reflection. So you've gotten all those reflections. Now I want to announce this class. Elevate your communication skills is a very great opportunity class. It's going to take place all Saturdays in the month of January 2026. What will you learn? You're going to learn effective connecting principles, effective connecting practices. You're going to learn the 5 levels of communication. You're going to learn how to communicate with confidence, then how to increase your influence with people. And if you can register, that's is the place to register, right? Is right there. eventcrate.com/E/EYC 2026. eventcrate.com/E/EYC 2026. And to make it easier for you, let me see if I can let me put it in the chat so that you can easily get that. So if it's in the chat, you can easily get that. I'm going to put it in the chat so that you can easily click and register. I'm going to put it on the chat box. Like I said, if you register for that, you have this is it. That's the code to register for that. Is Eventbrite. So it's right there. So it's all Saturdays in the month of and let me show you something. If you register for that, if you register for this communication, and let me show you, you will have a free admission to this one. You will have a free admission to Live to Lead Development Experience on January 3rd. So you have automatic admission into this one. And you'll be having speakers like John Maswell, Tiffany Bova, Jesse Cole, Craig Rochelle, Anthony Trucks, Valerie Button. That's my coach. It's going to be a 3-hour session, I tell you, and practical application. I mean, when you register for that communication, this one, you have automatic access to this one. Automatic access. That's a bonus. That's a bonus. And I want to say thank you for making this today. And I want to have respect for your time. Don't forget, so you have that privilege. Once you register for that communication, you have automatic access to the Live to Lead, which includes John Maswell, great leaders. And then you have a bonus content of Elevate Your Communication Masterclass that I did. That's bonus. That one is classic. In fact, people spend $200 for that one alone. So you're having 3 in one content for the price of one. So I look forward to seeing you in that Elevate Your Communication. Yeah. So I will just thank you. It's been a great day, and this elevates your this unlock your power with intentional reflection. And I believe you have gotten so much value.